What
We're
was
making
that?
it.
Bye. Hey, Fred's Fish, give me a three-piece fish, white bread, and some tartar sauce with some lemon and ketchup, and I'm good.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, a mom's got to do what a mom's got to do.
For eyes should be only for you, and
Only.
that's right. The Bible talks about if it's not, then you should like gougge your eyeballs out and stuff.
Literally. And you might have to. And I feel like I weaponize a lot.
When I was driving, I just felt like the name was gonna come clarified that day. Like,
yeah, but like literally, it was like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna be your name. Like it just made sense because I told Gilbert as
we actually have our
We have
name
a
for the
name.
podcast.
3, 2, 1, talk to me.
Hey guys, welcome to our
podcast.
podcast. My name is Gilly.
and this is Dorothy.
And welcome to our podcast. This
Yes.
is episode number 5. We are.
We're making it. Oh.
Bye. I heard that on the thing. Bye. Episode 5. We are here, better than ever. We're 5 episodes from the first episode. So,
Yeah.
if you guys haven't already seen last episode was our anniversary.
Yes.
So this is post anniversary, post weekend, and it was bomb. We had a really good weekend.
It was fun.
Your boy is up 3 dates now, and so I still got a lot.
1, 2, 3, yeah.
Still got a lot to go, but it was good. So
Okay, you got 6 months.
tell people how I did. How did I do?
You did good. You did great. It was a good time. It was a really good time. Just me and you. No kids.
No kids. Yeah. So, but episode 5 is going to be an exciting one because for a while now, since the first episode, we've been trying to find what we're going to name this podcast, and I'm excited to announce that we actually have our name for the podcast.
Yes, we do.
So we're super excited.
Yeah.
But you got to wait a little later into the podcast to hear that. So stay around. We're going to reveal it.
Yeah.
But we kind of want to talk into the past weekend or what happened. So we actually went out Friday and Saturday, 2-day little shindig. Friday, we got babysitters. So want to give a couple of shout outs.
Yeah.
Shout out to.
Are we saying the names?
I don't know. Can we? We can.
Sure, I guess.
Go ahead. Name them. The whole family.
Well, yeah, we have really good friends of ours that actually have taken care of our kids before and just love on our kids so much, and we trust them 100% fully with our kids. Ella and Ernesto.
Yeah.
And they have 5 kids of their own.
Yes.
I think ranging from I could be wrong. I'm so sorry, baby Ella. If you hear this, I want to say 25 or somewhere in their 20s, and the youngest one is, oh my gosh, like 7 or. My numbers are wrong, but there's literally 5 of them, 5 kids around those that age gap. Sorry, yeah. They have twins that are like in middle school, and then they have like another son that's about, I think, in his early 20s too. Mm-hmm. So they're an amazing family. Each of those kids love our kids, and it just makes it more easier.
They're for sure like big brother and sisters.
Yeah,
like,
they're amazing.
You know, they baby them when they go in there. They're like, "Hi, Liam," but they make them so comfortable. And literally, my daughter can't stop talking about.
She loves.
She already wants to go back today. She's like, "Can we go today? Go visit?" And I'm like, "We gotta give them some rest," you know. But they love our kids, and they're just big family. So shout out to you guys because they actually watched our kids.
They held it down for that
night.
And
that night was we had dinner. And then we actually had a movie, but the movie didn't show till 10 o'clock. So, we didn't get out of the theater till 12. Mm-hmm. And just to let you guys know, your boy can't hack it anymore. I was just
I mean, you actually did pretty good compared to me.
I saw you with your eyes closed for a while. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of came through it. So,
yeah.
But yeah. And then also I want to shout out to my boy Nick for this hat. Certified Bogeyman. He's launching his golf hat apparel. So, this is one of it. So, make sure you check him out.
I'm going to say something.
What?
This whole time I thought it said boogeyman.
That's what it's about though, because he's going off of that song,
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar certified boogeyman,
That's so okay.
but he's certified bogeyman.
I
So
literally thought it said boogeyman, and I was gonna question you, but I was like, whatever. It's really not my business.
yeah. So if you see the flag, it's like a +1. So like it's like your bogey when you're playing golf.
What does bogey mean?
So you have your when you try to if it's like a par 5 or a par 3.
Oh, this is golf.
Yeah, it's
terms.
golf
Oh,
terms. Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay,
So
okay. So
you
I
know
don't
you
really
have
care.
your eagle, your par, your bogey, double bogey. So the more like shots it takes you, you kind of go down that. So
Got it.
yeah. So shout out to him, and then also too hit me up on the DMs. Greg Gossine, he was like, "Hey, shout me on the podcast." So this is your shout
Hi,
out.
Greg
So he
and
said,
Genesis. We love you guys.
love you guys all the
We
way from
miss
Fort
you and the
Worth.
boys.
They used to live here with us,
Yeah.
and it was just great friends that we made over the years.
Yeah.
And it was a super, super awesome time.
Yeah,
He's
it
like,
was
"Hey,
fun.
shout us out!" And so thank you guys for watching.
Yes, thank you
And
guys.
shout out to everybody else watching.
Yes, everyone else that's like come up to us and just said how they think the podcast is going great. We appreciate all the feedback. Like literally, like you guys are amazing.
Super amazing. Yeah,
Yes.
just constantly everybody's like, "Hey, I heard the podcast." And
I
then
know.
went over to our buddy's house yesterday, and he put on the podcast, and like
So
right away,
sweet.
like he was like watching it or it was just playing in the background. So I put on my Instagram stories like, "Get friends that support you," and it was just cool.
It was-
So it was cool. To see
and
that.
now that we have an official name, I think we need to like make our own Instagram.
Yeah. So the Instagram will come
Yeah.
this week. Also, I think we're going to sign up for Spotify so we can actually put on Spotify and Apple.
So excited.
And I really want to make some merch already too. Like I don't even know if anybody would buy it, but just to have it on here too. So we'll go into that. But kind of going over this past weekend, it was our anniversary. Turned 9 years married, 19 years together.
Yes.
So I known this little shawty for a while now,
A
and
long while.
she was a friend, then a girlfriend, then a fiance.
I don't think we were. Never mind.
We were friends for 3 days.
I don't know if we mentioned that in the last podcast,
That we were together for.
but
3
we were
more.
like talking for 3 days, and then he asked me out.
Right away.
Like we didn't even really know each other.
I mean, Jesus came, he returned from the grave in 3 days. So that's a good number. So I just stick with that and just roll with that. But yeah, so kind of going off of our dates, we did a 2-day.
Yeah.
So we just kind of stayed in town. Didn't really do anything extravagant, but still, I want to try to make it special. My wife, if you guys don't know, my wife is very hard to surprise. And
Really?
yes, because every time I do something, she thinks like I'm doing something else, or she's like, "Hey, why are you being so secretive over there?" Or she always, and then I get frustrated to a point. I'm like, "Well, this is what I'm doing," and then she feels super bad after.
That has happened before.
It hasn't happened lately, so you've been good. So kudos on that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think this time when I planned it, I didn't do it like on my phone. I kind of just did it more in person with the people. So we actually planned a date to go eat, and shout out to my boy Ruben.
Yes, Ruben and
Thank
Sam.
you so much. You guys are
So
listeners to the
good,
podcast
that
too.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, "Hey, like you should come down to Papados."
Mm-hmm.
Never been there. I'm not a big fan of seafood, but man, that changed my mind.
It was so good.
It was so good. So I didn't know what
Yeah.
to get. Like I'm like, "Hey, Fred's Fish, give me a three-piece fish, white bread, and some tartar sauce with some lemon and ketchup, and I'm good." But man, he was like, "No, like check out this platter." So we literally split the platter because it's a huge thing, and it was like
Yeah.
two catfish.
It was catfish.
2 catfish, shrimp.
Shrimp.
The shrimp tastes so good, and then there was a stuffed shrimp and
Yeah.
the fries, and it was just so good,
Calamari?
and calamari
Yeah,
as
it was,
well.
yeah.
So it was super good.
Mhm.
Dorothy liked it,
Really good.
and so yeah, so we started there. She didn't know about that, so
No.
literally drove up. She was like, "We're going to Papa Do's." I was like, "Yep, we're going to try it out." And my wife is a creature of habit.
I am.
She doesn't like to try new things. but we both tried it together and we ended up liking it.
It was really good.
And we already said that we're gonna go again.
For sure.
But we're just gonna save some money because it is a pricey place. But still, he took care of us.
I
And it
know.
was super
So
good. So thank
sweet.
you guys
Yes.
for that. And just to be on our side and our team and supporting the podcast as well. He was also telling us, like, you guys send me the link so I can listen to it at work. And so super, super cool. So we did that. After that, we went to the movies. Went to go see the new movie Trap.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on the movie?
I liked it. I just think that there could have
No spoiler alerts, please.
No. There just could have been things that shouldn't have been on there. Like it was very they try to do it very comedic in a way, like try to put in some humor in a movie that's supposed to be like
Suspenseful?
kind of suspenseful.
Yeah.
If you've seen the trailer or if you have not seen it, it's kind of based off like this guy that they're trying to catch, basically. They trap him.
Yeah, he's like a serial killer. But you don't see, like, I thought that they were going to show that in the movie, and they didn't. It was just mostly like he has a person, and then there's previous
victims
that,
so it's right up my alley because I love like
which
true
I thought
crime and all that stuff.
Which I thought would be really good because I was like, hey, it is interesting for me to watch, and then this would kind of get your little like crime fix, and it's a win-win.
Yeah. And Gilly's always for the bad guy.
I am.
And I was like, why are you for him right now?
I am. So
I was so upset.
So the concept, this guy is obviously a serial killer, and he has two lives basically. So his teenage daughters, there's a R&B singer or pop star, so they go to the concert and they're like going to the concert, and they're enjoying it. He got like good seats, and they're watching the show, and then all of a sudden he knows that there's a lot of police, and basically they found out that the killer, which is him, was going to be in the stadium, so they're blocking all the exits. They're like questioning people, so all this thing, and then he started noticing that, so he tries to get out, but all the exits are closed, the floor and
like they
the
literally
roof
barricade the whole arena.
Yeah. And
literally
like there's a part where the stage goes up and he's like thinking like, oh, I could get out of there, and the only way is through like backstage and all that. So I was like, oh, come on. Like I was getting so anxious for him. I was like, okay, he could go that way, he could go this way. And then Dorothy's like, why are you going for him?
I know. Gilly goes for the bad guys all the time.
Yeah, and I was like, maybe I'm him. Like
I hope
maybe I'm a psycho.
He's not.
I'm not, but it's just,
He's
I don't
psycho.
know. Why?
You don't give me those
I need to talk to a therapist.
You really do.
Yeah, maybe like, why do I go for the bad guy? Oh man, but yeah. So I actually want to talk about so one thing that, I mean, we're parents, obviously. We know how it is to have kids. So me and her are out, and we're just sitting there. Previews are like going on. The movie's about to start, and then probably like three seats down from me, there's this couple there, and they got like a fairly, I would say like a newborn baby, right? Like a newborn, but kind of. I didn't feel
No, it wasn't new. It was probably like maybe less than a year.
Less than a year.
Like maybe, I don't know, like 6-7 months. It was
okay. So it was, I didn't really see. I just
it was
saw
a
them
pretty full
walking.
baby. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're there, and then the movie's just about to start. Like the open credits are starting in the movie, and then all of a sudden, like, when you see, I mean, I'm always observant, and I always see like movement. So if I see movement, I'm like, okay, like what happened or what's going on. So I look to the right, and the lights are already down, so you can hardly see just from the screen, and I see the motion of the baby like getting put out, and then I was like, oh, like I don't know, like something like baby was choking or whatever was going on, and then all of a sudden, like I see the mom and she's about to nurse, and right when I saw that, I was like, oh, I was turned this way, and right when I saw that, I was like, oh, and then I just kind of like, oh, okay, like, watch the movie, but I didn't know if Dorothy saw that, and then as a man, as just a husband, it's like I wasn't looking, I wasn't like trying to peek over there, I just honestly didn't know. But I didn't know if she knew. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Okay.
I think you actually told me.
Yeah.
Oh, no, because I mentioned it to you. I was like, oh, my gosh, that couple to the right of us. I was like, they had the newborn baby. Or it wasn't newborn, but they had their baby. and I guess that baby fell asleep throughout the movie. And I had saw them, and I was like, man, like they brought their baby to a movie. Like I could never do that. And then like sure enough, like in the middle of the movie, I turn over and like the baby's like passed out, and like the mom is like very like into the movie, and I was like, oh okay, cool, like she's great, like she.
Yeah.
I was thinking like the worst, like this baby's gonna like
Cry or something.
crying,
Yeah.
like she's gonna have to step
No,
out.
it was a
But
good baby.
definitely not what happened. And then that's when he mentioned to me about the
Yeah.
nursing.
Yeah. So I was just like, because like, I mean, to be honest, just like in general, like our relationship, we're very much like prior before. It's like if I did something, you would let me know,
Yeah.
or you're like, hey, like that was uncalled for or whatever, and I'm like, well, and I didn't want that to like be one of those moments
Yeah.
because, like, to be honest, I wasn't even, but how did that like alarm you anyway, like that happened?
No, because I didn't know about it.
But like I'm telling you,
Even
like
when
me,
he
I'm telling you.
yeah, even when he told me, I was just like, okay, like
Okay, cool.
I don't know. It is what it is. Not like you were like trying to look at
Yeah,
her, you know. And like I said, I didn't see you, and I think even if I did see you, I don't think like I know those weren't your intentions.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is what it is. Like mom's got to do what a mom's got to do.
For sure.
Like
For sure.
this, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I think too, like I'm not against that, like, or you know, I know there's some people like, oh, you should go do it somewhere. Yeah, but sometimes like
I mean, I
it's
get
their
that.
baby, it's their body, right?
I think it all depends on like the mom and like how you feel, if you're comfortable, if you're not comfortable.
Yeah,
It's what we're meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, not everyone does it.
Yeah.
I wish I could have done it on both of my kids. I'm really hoping for our next one in the future I'll be able to. But I mean, like I said, a mom's gotta do what a mom's gotta do. The baby has to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not gonna like,
especially if you're doing that and
him.
not formula, you know. Then and I think you just grow accustomed to.
And I think also like she played it really good too, or safe, or she was safe doing it there because you're in a movie theater. It's dark,
and then she was
no
like,
one's paying attention. Like I wasn't paying attention to her.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I hope like no one around her was either.
Yeah.
Like, what is she doing? But
that would have been crazy. Like, you just hear somebody like, ew, gross, put that away. Like, you know, like it, but literally she did it respectfully, and then she had like a cover and all that. And, you know, but yeah, I guess just as a husband, it's just like you don't want to be caught in the middle of that, because obviously, like, my eyes should be only for you, and in that's right. The Bible talks about if it's not, then you should like gougge your eyeballs out and stuff.
Literally, you know? And you might have to. I'm just kidding.
You know, but I guess like how, I don't even know if it's a topic, or like how does a husband should deal with something like that? Like
what do you mean?
Like if that was another situation, maybe for another mother, and her husband saw that.
So like, you look at her?
Yeah. Like shit, like, but it wasn't his intention. But then he's like, no, like I didn't know. And then the wife's mad or whatever. Like,
I think that just kind of breaks down to like maybe
is it maturity?
No, I think you're just insecure. Like your insecurities. Like a lot of the times I would tell you stuff, it's because I mean I've always dealt with insecurities, and like she's saying it for some reason, and I can attest to every man, but I could attest to you, but I don't think those weren't and aren't your attentions in that moment.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, maybe just reevaluating. Yeah. I don't know. That's.
And I think too, as a wife, like you very much do that for me. Like sometimes I could feel really crappy about the decisions I make, or if I'd done something that I didn't really mean to, or just offended you some way. Yeah. I try to come to a point where I let you know those things. And I think actually we're going to talk about it too, the Carl Lynn's podcast. They did really good on that point of like, because it was funny because we were laughing about it. But when he, because obviously the situation, if you guys don't know, check that out. But he used to be a Hillsong pastor, and then obviously he had an affair, and how he fought for his family, and how they both sacrificed. But now that it was hard for her to release him to go out. Yeah. But during the pandemic, it was happening in 2020. Like everybody was staying inside, so she's kind of working on that. but it was hard for her to let him go to the gym or do that. And then when there would be another woman, he very much came up to her and he was like, hey, like, I struggled, I had this, whatever temptation,
Yeah.
but I just want to let you know. And in that moment, the wife can very much use it. Right? What did he say? Like, you can weaponize
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you can weaponize it and be like, well, why are you going? This is why I don't want you to go. Or you can very much like, it's okay. Like, thank you for, because as a husband,
Yeah.
if I do bring it to you and I tell you something and then you latch out on me in anger, weaponize it, I'm not going to want to tell you again.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring it up to you.
When they said that, I'm like, wow, like obviously they've been through so much, and how she was mentioning, like, if I weaponize him, like that's not going to make the situation better on his end or either hers. And I feel like I weaponize a lot. I don't know if I still do, but I used to.
No, yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I mean, that's so true. Like, it only makes you uncomfortable and it makes you not want to tell me anything. And that's the last thing that anyone wants. But yeah, when she said that, I was like, wow, like this lady is like so strong.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't. And I don't know like the depths of what really happened. I just know a little bit. But I mean, I know enough to know, like, man, like she stuck through it. They're both fighting and they're both trying to be healthy for one another. And he is, I applaud him, because I was telling Gilbert, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I love how he's so open about him admitting that he did wrong. And because he did wrong, he's trying to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's like what he lives for now. Like, there's no stopping until like Jesus comes and gets us. Like, he's going to fight for his marriage. He's going to fight for her. He's going to fight for himself. And I'm like, I love, it's beautiful because you do not see that. Like, men are so prideful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, well, I did wrong, but oh well, like, get over it. Or I didn't do wrong. Like, or, like they try to like get themselves out of it. And to hear him, like, it's so, I don't want to say it's weird, but it's just like, wow, like there needs to be more of you out there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there is.
Yeah. And I think too, like it comes to a point where like you get caught.
Yeah.
Or you go through that I guess that road of, so you have nothing else to hide or nothing else to lose. And
yeah.
I mean, I think we all kind of wait till something bad really happens to do good. And I think it's just, that's very much like a vulnerable state of like, no, like I want to be open. I want to do this. And so it's a very good listen. And actually we were,
yeah, if you haven't listened to that podcast, you should
definitely check it out. It is called Lights On, with Carl Lentz and his wife, Miss Lauren. Yeah. So, but we were actually listening to that. The reason why we know about it is because we were traveling. So after date night 1, I kind of figured that I'm not meant for this no more. Like staying up really late, going to movies, because literally like after we got the movies, usually you sit down.
Yeah.
Wait for the credits, and then literally I was just like, "Hey, let's go! Like, let's go!
I know he was like, "Let's go." I was like, "Okay."
And there was like a little part like popped up. There's like a little comedic part
of
and I was like, "No, let's just go! Let's just go!" Like I was already done, and I was just really tired. So
same.
After that, the next day we had to wake up early because we were gonna go to Green, Texas, and my mom was gonna watch the kids. They were gonna go to a birthday party. Yeah. So. Shout out to Gigi, and she was gonna do that, but we had to take Kaylin for her shots.
Yes, before the school ended, I got a letter in her little folder saying that she needed to get her shots for, I guess, this upcoming school year. But they said no.
Yeah. So we got there. She's starting kinder, so obviously you gotta get ready for your shots and all that. And then it always, in the parenthood, I'm always the one to.
Yeah, he takes care of that. I don't do that stuff.
Dorothy does not do it, so I'm always the bad guy that has to hold him down or, You know, like they're like looking at me, and especially with like Liam, like he'll like look at me. He's like,
You
Dada,
betrayed me.
Dada. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like you have to do it. But yeah, and I didn't want to tell. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but we did not tell Kaylin.
No, we did not.
I did not tell her because I didn't want her to like overthink it
I
or
would be anxious.
You can let us know. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
bad or not, but we just felt that it worked for us.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it worked for us because she, I guess, didn't get them.
well, she did. Yeah, she didn't get them. Thanks for ruining it.
Sorry.
No, but yeah. So they had this free event, and they was kind of getting everybody ready for school, and they had free backpacks, like all these little things with saws and fingerprints for your kids. So all this stuff, and it was held at a local high school.
Yeah.
And so we woke up early. We got her appointment was at 10 o'clock. So we got dressed, got everybody out, and then she's like, "Where we're going?" We're like, "Oh, we're going to this thing for school, so you can get ready for the school year." And we go in there, and Dorothy's like, "Well, go ahead and go." So me and her went, and I'm over here trying to find where these vaccines are going to be for. So we're there, and the kids say the craziest things, right? Because Kaylin doesn't know what this school's at. This is actually my old high school.
Yeah.
I went there my freshman year. And I'm in there. I'm like, man, like I see like walking through because there was a lunch hall and then they have like an outdoor, like where everybody used to hang out at and eat their lunch. And I was like, man, I used to come to this high school, Kaylin. And she's like, oh yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, we're going to classrooms. Then we go through the door. Everything still looks the same. Like it's crazy. And then we actually went to the original classroom that I had. I think it had like science or something. Like it was like one of my classrooms that was in there. So we go in there and then we're signing up and they're like, oh, do you have your shot record? So I got all that and I'm signing her up and she's like, what's it for, Dad? And I'm like, oh, well, it's to get you into school. You know, they're going to check your teeth. And, you know, I'm lying to her. Like, you know, like I'm trying like to make sure. And so we're signing up. I'm signing her papers in anticipation of just them calling. And I was like, oh. And like, she's like, sit down, Dad. And I was like, no, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up. Like I couldn't even sit down. And then literally I'm thinking, okay, they're going to call her. We're going to say, oh, baby, you got to get shots. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's going to be one or two. I didn't know how many they're going to give. So I was like, and then I was like, so we get up and then we're going and then we go in the hallway and then the nurse like looks back at me and she's like, can you verify her date? So I verify her date, birth.
Date of birth, yeah.
And she goes, okay, well, it says here that she's all caught up with her vaccines and she doesn't need anything. I was like, for real? Like, she's like, yeah, like, look, it's here. So she took them when she was 4. She doesn't have to get them till she's 11. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was so relieved. I was so happy. And then I was like, you just saved me from a heartache. Like, she starts laughing. So, and Kanan's like, well, what happened? I was like, well, you're good. You can go to school. Like, you know, this was the biggest thing. So they had like a cone of ice. So I was like, get a snow cone. And funny thing, like I thought it was free because everything else was free.
Right.
So I'm there and I was like, well, how does it work? Like I'm asking the guy and he's like, oh, well, you get the snow cone. Then you can do the flavors. And she wanted to do like a rainbow. So she got like all the colors on it. And yeah. And then I'm there and I'm like, yeah, just give me one, you know, give me one. And I'm thinking and then he's like, oh, sir, it's $4. I was like, oh, my bad. So like I paid, and he's like, "You want another one?" Because I said I was gonna get one for Liam. I was like, "Nah, we're good. Like we're good."
That's
but
funny.
she deserved it. Like even I was already planning. I was like, "Perfect." Like
yes,
she's gonna get a shot. She's gonna be crying. I was like, "Hey, let's go get 2 of them."
Yeah,
like, you know.
Yeah.
So
it worked in our favor.
Thank God.
For sure.
Thank God.
But we did
like, what happened? I'm like, no shots. And,
yeah, but we did tell her like, hey, like we initially came here because you needed to get your shots for school, but they told you that you don't need them until you're 11.
It's so funny because she's devastated. She's like, I gotta get shots. I don't want to get shots. And I'm like, bro, it's not till you're 11. Yeah. Like, you're barely gonna be 6. Like, you know, you're good.
5 years from now.
So
yeah.
So that was a big relief.
Yes.
So thankful for that.
Yeah.
So after that, we dropped them off with Gigi and Pampu.
Yeah.
And they went over to a party for one of our friends. Mm-hmm. But it was so hard because Kaylin's like giving us the bad parent trip.
Oh my gosh, she had a hard time.
She did.
Like
she did. She was crying.
Yeah. She
didn't want to leave. And then Dorothy was like, well, we're just gonna go for today. And then right away she's like, you guys went out yesterday. You guys are gonna be gone again today. And I'm like, and I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, come on, like you're just coming with us, let's go. And then
Yeah.
Dorothy's right away saying, she's saying no, like
Yeah.
we gotta. It just has
Definitely
to be
no.
us.
Yeah.
And but I know that she brought up a good point too, because I think one time we went to Dallas to our main campus in Shoreline City, and oh, that's right, we just
We
had
only had
Caleb.
Caleb. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think he commented like, "No kids next time, no kids next time."
Yeah, because he knew that we were there for like just
Anniversary,
celebrating our
yeah.
anniversary. And we're like, yeah, this is our daughter. And he's kind of like, why do you have her here? And he was like, yeah, like he somewhere along the lines, like basically like when it's an anniversary or like a time for like a date or something, just to make sure it's just us two.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's good because it wasn't like a bad thing. Like, oh, why is she here? Like,
No,
no,
yeah,
like
yeah,
it
yeah,
was more
no.
like, oh, that's good. He's like, but you guys
Right.
should definitely just have
Right,
time, like
right, yeah,
and
yeah.
we're like, you know what? That's so true.
Yeah. And like you get mom or dad guilt, like you want to bring your kids, but
yeah.
it's more you.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, bro, like
I'm
let
like,
them
sneak them
be.
in, just put them
I
in the
know,
bag.
like if he could, he would. I'm like, no, we are leaving these kids somewhere, and we're not taking them.
Yeah. So we didn't take them, and thank God we didn't take them because it was hot and it was
Oh
a
my
lot of
gosh,
walking.
it
We were
was
walking a
really
lot.
hot
So
outside yesterday.
so we went to Green, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and it's literally like 45 minutes away from here. But with traffic, we're at the
It's like a
main
good
highway, it
hour.
was like an hour,
Yeah.
20 minutes. So we drove out there, went to Green, Texas. Never been before. It's like passing. It was in like a New Braunfels area, and it was just super nice. It was hot, but we
Yeah.
parked, and it was crazy because I was telling Dorothy, I was like, man, like I really like when I was driving, I just felt like the name was gonna come clarified that day. Like
Yeah.
I was like, the name for the podcast is just we're gonna see something or we're gonna talk about something. I just felt like confirmation of like, okay, the podcast is gonna be born today, like the name of it.
Yeah.
So we get there right away. I actually took some clips. I'll probably put in the video, but there was the hall down there, like the legendary like music hall.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little bar, and they have like the other side where you can like listen to music. And,
Yeah.
it was really cool. It was really cool. We were able to stand there for a little bit, listen to some music, and then we just started walking to town. They had an antique shop, and we walked in there, looked at all the old stuff. It was crazy because there was like old pictures of like random like families.
Random people.
And like for some reason,
Yeah.
I was so like captivated by it. I was like looking like for pictures, like, oh, I wonder if it's a cool picture of like I don't know who, but
We don't know who these people are. It's funny.
yeah. So we did that, and it was like old bottle caps, old like helmets, old comics, and really overpriced stuff. Like I'm like, bro, I can find this at a yard sale and like
Or Goodwill.
or Goodwill, and,
For cheaper.
and it just has antique, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's that's much money. So, but people were buying, people were doing that, and so we did that, and then of course coffee. We're like, hey, this
Yeah.
coffee shop. It was either that or wine, and I was like, I don't know. I think coffee was just more fitting.
Wine.
I didn't
tell
say
me
it.
that.
Yeah, they have like a little wine like winery thing, but I didn't know where it was. So sorry.
This
Next
whole
year.
time. Next year? No, to go this weekend.
No, for sure.
That'll
Like,
be your fourth date.
dude. Oh yeah, might as well just add it on. So we went to coffee, and then it was like 3 minutes walking distance. So we went over there, and it was really really cool. It was a coffee shop, but it was connected to like 4 other shops, right?
There was 4 other one or 3. Yes. Yeah.
So right away when you walk in there, there's coffee. So we got some coffee. We're cooling down. We're sweating. Like it was just super hot, and just like
I sweated so much.
sweat. And I was like, man, like
Yeah.
so. Got some water, and then we ended up getting some coffee and cooling down for a little bit. And then wifey was like, let's go over here. Like, let's go try it out or see these other shops that are connected to it. And they had like really cool pink Christmas trees outside. And so already said like, okay, fall time or like when it's getting December, like we're going to definitely come out here and take some pictures and stuff. We were at the coffee shop. Then we went to the pickle shop. I bought pickles. And then the next shop was where everything kind of happened for us. Kind of the name and all that. So it's a real cute like boutique, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a bunch of women clothing, stuff for like football season because football season is about to start. So Yeah, like Willie Nelson, like in football gear, and then they had one that was bows and footballs, super
A lot
cute
of cute
stuff.
stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had like you bought a necklace there.
Yeah.
Um, what else do they sell there?
It's just like a clothing store, but like they have like your accessories and your clothes, your outfits. They have a lot. It's a really really cute little shop. They have hats there too.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have it all there.
yeah, definitely. I like the hats because right away, I mean, I love hats. And then I saw one. It was like RBF Club or something like that. Like, and then there was one that we saw, and it was like a kind of like had like this the same colorway. And then literally I see from a distance, and I'm dyslexic, so like I see stuff right away, and like my mind
Yeah.
tells me what it is. So I saw like Homeboy, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like it's like a
Homeboy.
It said Homeboy, but the cursive letter and everything. And then I was
Mhm.
like, and then you were saying no, it says Homebody,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh. And then I just see your face like lit up, and you're like. And then I was like, what? And then you were telling me, you were saying like homebody, like,
Yeah. I
why
was
don't we
like,
call the podcast Homebody Podcast? And I was like, that's pretty, I really like that one.
yeah.
Tell me what you were thinking.
No, yeah, I just saw the word and I said, "Oh my gosh, I think that's our word." A little bit before, I mean, backtracking. I mean, obviously, we were trying to find a name for
Yes.
so long. For a few months, we had a name, and then we found out that it was taken.
Taken, yeah.
So we had to start from scratch, start from the beginning, and I'm not creative in that area at all. And I'm like, well, what
Yeah.
best describes us? And I think that best describes us. Like, we are literally like homebodies at heart. Like, we love to be at home. We love to just be relaxing, chilling, like in the couch.
Naps.
Literally, what we're doing
Sunday
now.
naps.
We do our Sunday naps, which we haven't been doing lately because we've
'Cause the
been doing a
podcast.
podcast.
That's been good.
But like, literally, it was like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna be your name. Like, it just made sense because I told Gilbert as well. Like, I know we had mentioned that this was going to be a parenting podcast,
Yeah.
which it still is going to be. But I also wanted it to be something more than just parenting. I wanted it to be more broad and open for every other subject because I want other people to come here that are not parents, or I want other people to hear that are not parents, but still talk about different things, not just parenting.
Yeah. Just in life in general.
And I wanted it to describe who we are, and I think that word describes us like at the core, like we're homebody people.
Yeah.
That is what we live for. Like before kids, like we were literally homebodies. Like we'd just be home chilling. You play your game. It was just that's just who we are.
Yeah. It's
And
like
it just made so much sense.
it's definitely like home. Like
Yeah.
it's just is and literally it's just in the words. I mean, I think when 2020 happened, everybody had to become like a homebody, right? Because you couldn't
Yeah.
go out. But like you realize like everybody is a homebody.
Everyone
like,
is a homebody.
in a certain extent.
In a certain, yeah, in different aspects of life. Like, of course, you're not going to be stuck being at home all the time, but like everyone has that quality in
Yep.
them.
Everybody likes to just
Yeah.
rainy day. I'm gonna stay home and watch
Yeah.
movies, or I'm just like I just want to get in my bed. Like, so everybody's a homebody. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
that's like, and then it was funny because Dorothy's like, what best describes us? And I'm like, lazy. And then she kind of like laughed about it. But then later on, it's like, no, like it's just we enjoy to be home with each
Yeah.
other. Like that's where peace is. That's where
Yeah.
home is at. Like that's where like the love is at.
Yes.
Like I'm at work and I'm just like, I love my job, but like I'm there and just like, man, I wish I was home with the
Yeah.
kids.
I mean, I
Like,
think anyone does. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, as everybody. So literally, I saw that, and then it said Homebody, and I was like, oh my god, the Homebody Podcast.
Yeah.
With Gilly and Dorothy.
Yeah.
And I was already thinking about merch, and I was like, oh, we could do the hats, and I was
Yeah.
like, we can have the big sweatshirts that says Homebody on it. So you heard it first.
Yes.
Now you're not gonna see. We had to rebrand already.
Yes.
We're
excited.
We're excited. So you're gonna
Yeah.
see the new Homebody podcast with Gilly and
Podcast.
Dorothy. So that's the new
Yes.
name for the
So
podcast.
excited.
We're super stoked, super
Yeah.
excited. We told some people, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's perfect!" Like,
Yeah.
and I think the biggest thing for us because I chat GPT, I try to like give
We
me some
everything.
ideas. I was like, give me
Yeah.
like Aladdin, like a not Aladdin. what did I say?
Yeah, Latin.
Latin cultured like
Yeah,
podcast
yeah,
name, and then do it like a creative. Like I want
yeah,
something like this,
yeah.
and like all the names were coming through, but it just wasn't
It just wasn't
hitting.
it. It just
It
wasn't
wasn't like,
right.
oh, that's what because
Yeah,
we hear other podcasts, and what are some that you were saying like the de-influence podcast? I was like,
yeah.
oh, that's a good like
There's just so
creative.
many podcasts that are
Game
so
on,
unique,
yeah,
and I'm like, but it describes that person, and I'm like, I love that. And so that's when I was like, what describes us?
yeah, and it was just like I guess the branding aspect is just
Yeah.
like what's creative enough to be like, oh, that's it. Like you hear
Mhm.
something, you're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
it.
We didn't want it to be platonic. We didn't want it to be like just ordinary or plain or like we wanted it to be like
Like literally, I was thinking
different.
like it is what it is podcast,
That was one of
and
them.
I was like,
Yes.
oh, okay, that's. But like it wasn't like,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
it. And then we were going back and forth, and I was like, man, but like literally when we were on the road over there, I was like, man, like I feel that something's gonna happen, or conversation's gonna spark, or
Yeah.
we're just gonna get clarity on it. And then sure enough, we saw that hat, and like we both instantly knew,
I know.
like,
We were like,
oh,
this is it.
Homebody, like
Yeah.
the Homebody podcast. And
Yeah.
then we were thinking like merch wise, I was like the Homebody Club. Like do like a little golf hat that says like the Homebody Club, and like make it look really spiffy and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're super excited for that.
We're so
And
excited.
yeah,
We finally
yeah,
have a name, and now we could officially, hopefully, be on Spotify.
yeah. We're gonna start the
I
Spotify
know we couldn't go on there without a domain
domain name. Yeah,
domain
because then I
name.
did the apostrophes like
Yeah.
under just to start it, but
Wouldn't
then
let
it wouldn't
you.
let me. So I was
Yeah.
like, I was literally gonna be called podcast, and I was like, that's lame.
That's boring.
So like yeah, so now that we have the name, we could do the Spotify
Yes.
podcast where you can
Yeah.
hopefully watch us on there. You'll be able to watch us on YouTube,
Yeah.
hear us on Apple, and I think like
Yes.
Amazon as well too. And
Amazon?
yeah, they have like an Amazon podcast that you can do that
Oh.
on well too.
I
So
didn't know that.
we're trying to be on all
Okay.
platforms.
That's so awesome.
And then thought about merch. Then we can
Gilly's
start
the
an
merch
Instagram.
guy.
Yeah, I'm already branding. Like I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. So if you guys are down, we're probably gonna be dropping some hats, maybe some sweatshirts, I don't know, t-shirts. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm excited already. Like my mind's already going there. So
This
make
mind
a
is
look out.
running.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
also too, every episode is gonna come out on Monday.
Every Monday
Every Monday at 8 o'clock.
in the morning.
In the
Yes.
morning. So make sure you look out for that.
Yeah.
We could do that or Friday. I don't know what's best, but I feel like a lot of people come out on Friday.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't come out on Monday. So I was like, we
No.
kind of want to start your week, like,
So
you know,
right.
and hopefully you guys listen
Yeah.
to this and enjoy it too. So, but yeah. So,
We're so excited.
anything else you want to say?
No, I think that was it.
Was
I
it-
was more excited to like say the name.
Yeah. So this literally this title is like we finally got a name for the
Yay.
podcast.
Yeah.
So you
I'm
heard it here
excited.
first. Homebody Podcast
Homebody.
with
Oh my God,
Gilly
we're
and
saying it.
Dorothy. I know we're saying
I
it.
know,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, we haven't said
We're gonna
it.
drop some sweats. We're gonna drop some.
I'm
We're
so
gonna go
excited.
some your own homebody pillows. We're gonna drop a snuggie.
Oh my gosh. One
No.
step at a time,
Yeah,
babe.
yeah, I'm just going there already. So thank you guys for all the
Yes,
support.
thank you guys.
Thank you for following us, giving us
Yes.
suggestions.
I know. Thank you
Um,
for everyone that put in and like little names for us, and like
Yes.
you really like honed in on that and like looked at them and were like, okay, like what
They were
was it?
good,
Yeah, they were amazing.
but I think we
amazing
wanted to
names.
shift from like just not
Yeah.
a parental
Yeah.
to kind of broad. So like anyway, because we want young people on here. We
Yes.
want people to ask us questions. We want people to
Yeah.
ask them questions.
Yeah.
We want successful parents in here, people that are
Right.
just starting, people that have kids already and kind of figuring out parenthood. But we want to interview and have so many people on
Yes.
here. So it's coming,
It's
and this is the next step. I mean, it's amazing time.
Yeah. We're
God has been
excited.
great, like through this time, just
Yeah.
the growth of it, and we're just aiming for the moon.
Yes, we
Aiming for the
are.
moon. So, again, guys, subscribe to our YouTube page.
Yes.
Turn on the notification bell, and then also follow us on Instagram. And that is that, guys.
We love you
So
guys.
thank you guys for listening. We'll see you on the
We'll
next
see
one.
you. Bye.
3, 2, 1, talk to me.